Hello, my name is Sean Sperry. I am with the IBM Software Group. In this short video, we're going to take a look at the new data protection for Microsoft Hyper-V, a feature that's part of Tivoli Storage Manager for Virtual Environments 7.1.1. And we're going to look at individual file restore as opposed to whole virtual machine restore. So let's get started. First, just a brief reminder that data protection for Hyper-V allows you to do data protection, that is backup and restore, from a Tivoli Storage Manager server. Uh, it does full backups and it does incremental forever backups in a very similar manner to the base Tivoli Storage Manager client, as well as data protection for VMware. Now, again, very similar to data protection for VMware, uh, the product allows you to restore whole virtual machines, but if you want to pick off just an individual file from a machine or a group of files, there is a special component called the recovery agent that lets you go out and look at a TSM server and mount a virtual machine. Once you mount the virtual machine using the recovery agent, then you can go out there and just copy the files that you want back to the virtual machine using a standard network methodology. So it really makes it very easy to pick off individual files from a backed up virtual machine without having to restore the whole system. Uh, as far as a recommendation for the recovery agent, we recommend that you install it inside a Hyper-V virtual machine in your environment. That way you can just, as you need files from particular virtual machines, mount them uh, using that guest VM and then copy them over to the virtual machine where they need to be placed. There's also a reboot required when you do the installation. So you can, of course, install it on a physical server or on the Hyper-V hypervisor, but if you do so, just understand that you're going to have a reboot when you do the installation. Also, another option for installing the recovery agent is inside the machine where you're doing the recovery. So for instance, you can install the recovery agent inside a machine that you're trying to restore individual files from and pull those files back into that same virtual machine. So we're going to do a quick demonstration of the recovery agent, and what we're going to do is use TSM version 7.1.1. We're going to be using data protection from Microsoft Hyper-V 7.1.1. We'll be using the recovery agent from that, and we are running in a 2012 R2 Hyper-V environment. And what we've done is we've done an incremental backup of an entire virtual machine. So that's already been done, and the scenario is we want to pick a file out of that whole machine backup. So what we're going to do is use a recovery agent to mount a virtual hard disk volume from the TSM server without actually restoring it, and then we'll just copy off the file that we want and dismount the volume. So let's get started. Okay, so here we are on a Windows 2012 R2 CSI Hyper-V host, and I'd like to kind of give you an overview of where we're starting from here. If I bring up the DP for Hyper-V client and do an actions restore VM, you can go out here and see that I have two backups of this Hyper-V virtual machine with the name Windows 2012 R2. I have a full and an incremental. And what I'm going to do is now use the recovery agent to mount this incremental backup and go ahead and pull a file from it. So what I'll do is I'll just close this out. I'll go ahead and minimize this. And if you go to our start screen, you'll see I have the Tivoli Storage Manager recovery agent pinned to the start menu. And here I'm getting a prompt asking me what Tivoli Storage Manager server I want to log into. I'm going to give it the name of my server, and I'm going to log in directly using the node name that I backed the virtual machines up as. So I'll go ahead and give it my password. And when I do that, I will be connected to the TSM server. So now what I can do is go out there and look at all of the virtual machines stored on the TSM server. I have 2 of them. I want to do my individual file restore from this one, Windows 2012 R2. Next, I can pick the exact snapshot time or backup time that I want to do restore from. I am going to pick the latest here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the mount or restore from here. And then I'm going to pick the disk that I want to do the restore from. So I'll go ahead and pick that 127 gig disk. When I clicked on mount, it's going to ask me where I want or what partition I want to create my virtual volume mount from. I'm going to go ahead and pick the 126 gig disk, and I will mount it as the H drive, as just an example. So now when I click on OK, you'll see that I have a mounted volume as H. And what this is I am looking inside my Tivoli Storage Manager server at the backed up virtual machine, Windows 2012 R2, and I am mounting a disk from inside that backup to any machine that I want to in order to pick off files. So now if I go out and go to my File Explorer, you'll see I have an H drive, and I can see all the files that were inside that virtual machine at the time I took the backup. If I wanted to restore a file, what I can do is just copy it off, and you can see here I have a UNC share pointing to the Hyper-V guest that I want to restore the file to. My guest happens to be CSI 2012 R2 guest, and I can go ahead and just pull that up as a network share and do a paste and replace the file in the destination, and now the file is restored. I happen to have a console pulled up on my machine, on that machine, so we can go take a look inside of it. And if I scroll down here, pull up File Explorer on that machine, you'll see that down here I have my my file that I just restored. So that's really all there is to it. I'll go ahead and close this console, and I'll go ahead and close my File Explorer. Now if I wanted to, and it's probably a good idea, I can go ahead and dismount this drive from the TSM server and close my recovery agent. And now you'll see that my drive is gone. So that's really all there is to restoring an individual file from a virtual machine, or multiple individual files if you wanted to copy off multiple ones. So I hope you found this useful, and I look forward to seeing you on some future videos.